Direct from the Coupe de Carp and streaming around the world on blasttheradio.com, Twitch TV, and Facebook Live. Engaging you in conversations about the hot topics of the day. The number to call is 613-413-2217. And now, the legendary Lowell Green, live on blasttheradio.com.
Fats Domino, my God, where do you get that music, John?
I got it all here, my man. I
tell you, it sure beats, as far as I'm concerned. Hey, you know what's really strange is that kind of music, a lot of parents and schools and the Catholic Church, it wouldn't allow kids to listen to that kind of music. Rock and roll is a thing of the devil. And now, compare that. I'm walking, and the twist, et cetera, rock around the clock, terrible stuff, Elvis Presley. And compare that with the song of the year last year was a song named, what was it, Wet Pussy or something?
I didn't want to say it,
but
okay.
Wet ass pussy. Well,
yep.
You got to say it. This is a song that's okay with most parents, apparently.
Yep, you're right.
Honest to God, this was the song of the year last year.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, they're taking Dr. Seuss off the air and everywhere. And even Pepe Le Pew now apparently is banned. Pepe Le Pew. We've got a cartoon skunk banned. We've got a plastic potato now that has lost his you-know-what. Honest to God. In the meantime, our kids are listening to hip-hop music that talks about shooting the cops and kill the bitch and all the rest. And I'm sorry to use it, but this is what they're talking. This is what they're singing. And wet-ass pussy. I don't know. Anyway, you know what? What the hell can we do, eh? That's apparently what people want, so that's what they're getting. That's what they're getting. John, this is one of those days when I really don't want to talk about what everybody is talking about. But I'll talk about it anyway, okay? What else could I be talking about but the big circus last night? That's what I call it. Sometimes described as the big Oprah interview with Harry and Meghan. Oh, my God, the end of the world. Now, I say circus because, to me, and I'm not trying to degrade either Harry or Meghan, I'm just simply saying that this is a performance that distracts us from the rather grim news that surrounds us, okay? As in COVID rates are on the rise again. So here is the big distraction, the circus. The ancient Romans, John, I'm sure you know, used to quell the growing discontent overtaking the city with bread and circuses. They gave people free bread and the circuses. And in those days, the circuses were pretty grim things. Blood sport, gladiators, lions, lots of sex. They used that to calm the troubled waters. It didn't work in the end, but it worked for a while. Last night, the circus was somewhat tamer. Racism, mental health, bullying, pretty near all the hot topics of the day, okay? I didn't watch. I don't know if you did, John, but...
I did.
I don't know if, did transgendering crop up during the discussion?
No, sir.
Well, I wouldn't have been surprised because, let's be honest, no discussion of any note these days can be held without a very thorough discussion of transphobia. But if they didn't discuss transphobia last night, chalk that one up for the good guys, okay? But, folks, you're going to have to explain to me why, and John, that includes you, why you would watch something like that. I don't get it. I have absolutely no interest in the daily squabbles, the sexual exploits, the breast size of Hollywood celebrities, or the pampered royals. But no matter where I turn, it seems that that's all that people want to talk about. Now, if it's a distraction, something different, I understand that. You know what? I can just understand people saying, you know what, I'm so sick and tired of all the bad news that I'm going to watch this and see what I think, see what I hear. So, folks, let's talk about it. John, how do they talk about it with me here?
A number of ways. So if you're following Lowell on his Facebook page, you can chime in there, and I will read as many of your comments to Lowell as I can. So that's facebook.com/lowell.green.56, or connect to it at blasttheradio.com/lowellgreen. We're also live on twitch.tv/blasttheradio. You can join the chat there, or text us or call us at 613-413-2217.
You know what I find amazing? You can now get this show from Alexa.
Yes, you can.
Yesterday afternoon, my wife said, Alexa, play Lowell Green on podcast. And guess what happened? Up comes Lowell Green. Now, apparently, during the live, they have to say, Alexa, play Blast the Radio. Am I right on that?
That is correct, yeah. That'll play the radio station feed.
All right. Okay. Now, as I say, from what I gather, opinion seems divided whether Megan was just acting last night or real. I don't know. Did she really contemplate suicide? I mean, I have difficulty believing that she would actually do that. I mean, let's face it, she's in a pretty privileged position. And poor old Harry. I kind of like Harry, but he just seems out of his league in this picadillo. You know what a lot of this reminds me of? It's a group of teenage girls all, gossiping about other girls. One of their friends leaves and they all begin to gossip and squat. She did this and she did that and she wears her hair like this. And oh, did you see what? Anyway, to me, that's what it's all like. But as I say, distracting from the bad news. COVID figures on the rise. Oh my God, does this ever end? Canada falls further behind other nations. And by the way, and we're not going to discuss this because I do want to hear from you on a couple of other things, including what you took from last night, whether this is going to damage the royal family. And by the way, if it does damage the royal family, you know what? I really wonder if anybody really cares anymore, other than the Queen. Everybody loves the Queen. Even if you're not a monarchist, everybody loves this Queen. What's not to love about this Queen? Steadfast lady, I mean, through the Second World War, the Blitz and all the rest of it, stood there shoulder to shoulder with bombed out Londoners. What's not to, but when she's gone, does anybody really care anymore? You may have some thoughts on that. And talking about grim news. Oh, by the way, on vaccines, and this, I'm going to leave this now because the worse the situation with vaccines, the more support for Trudeau. So I'm going to stop talking about it, okay? Despite the big push and vaccines. We still, do you realize that in Ontario, we still have not vaccinated 1 million people? I'll give you the exact figure. As of 10 o'clock this morning, we had vaccinated in Ontario 912,486 people out of a population of 14.57 million. So that's just about 6%. So after 3 months, and by the way, it is 3 months now, virtually. We have managed in Ontario to vaccinate about 6%. And by the way, that's about the percentage of people we've vaccinated, even after all of this big push and all of the billions of new vaccines that Trudeau stands out there and boasts about. I got these billions of vaccines pouring in. We still haven't vaccinated quite 6% of our population. And as far as people getting double doses, 2 doses, which we're supposed to, in Ontario, less than 300,000 people in all of Ontario have had both vaccinations. 273,676 people have had both shots, okay? And by the way, I don't know how many of you people know this, but I'm kind of an old guy. I'm supposed to be in phase 1. I'm over 80 years, okay? I'm 84, going on 85. Not bad. But I still haven't got my shot, and I have no idea, no freaking idea. I keep, and Debbie keeps doing this for me, checking out Ottawa Public Health and so forth. No news. I don't know. I'm reading on Facebook and other places, people getting vaccinated all over the place. I don't figure it out. If I'm not getting, I mean, my point is nobody gives a damn about me, and for good reason. But if I am not getting a vaccine at age 84, then other people aged 80 and 84, they're not getting it either, okay? We're supposed to be among the first ones, healthcare workers, etc. Anyhow, And but this talking about grim news. This is enough to just make you want to go into a corner and throw up all over everybody's shoes, right? Even as the vaccine numbers grow worse and we fall further and further and further behind other nations, the United States has now vaccinated over 90 million people. And we haven't quite made 3 million yet in the country, in the entire country. Did you know that? We've even today, like at the end of this week, we'll be lucky if we have vaccinated 3 million people. Meantime, the United States will have vaccinated about 100 million. They're a hell of a lot smarter than we are, obviously, down there. I mean, they're able to vaccinate 100 million. We can't make 3. But despite all of this and all of the news about more scandals and, people covering up and all the rest of it, the more bad news for Trudeau, the more good news, because people just love it. The deeper in debt we go, the more people love Trudeau. New polls out now. Liberals are on the rise again, up another 2%, and the Conservatives down 2%. So, what the hell? My suggestion to O'Toole and all of the Conservatives is they should go out and really do something bad. I don't know what it might be. Like, I don't know, find some puppy. I can't, but do something really, really bad, because that seems to be the only thing that people in Canada want. Oh, my God. So you with all of this, all of the bad news facing us, I guess it's small wonder that people prefer talking about Meghan and Harry. What do you think? Some people say last night is bad news for the royal family. My response is, aside from the Queen, who everybody loves, does anybody really care? Harry, Meghan, the Kardashians, Cardi B with her wet-ass pussy song. It's all the same to me. About as important to our daily lives as, Brussels sprouts or cauliflower. Stuff, as far as I'm concerned, should be jammed into the back of the refrigerator. But what about you, folks? What do you think? Will this hurt the royal family? Will this hurt Harry? Will it hurt Meghan? Do you give a damn? And this question, if Meghan and Harry really, 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 really want to live a private life, what in the hell are they doing? What are they doing on a primetime interview with the queen of bullshit and trivia? That would be Oprah. So the big question, as far as I'm concerned, is this. With all these glorious millions of vaccines pouring into the country, is there any chance for guys like me over the age of 80 maybe getting a shot sometime in the next 12 years? Sign me, 84, and still waiting for my freaking Trudeau magic shot. Shields. Got some news from Shields. Mark Shields texted me on the weekend to apprise me of the fact that the government rebate program ends at the end of this month. A lot of people aren't aware that there is a government rebate program on the purchase of many appliances, and it's a fairly substantial rebate. At Shields, they have always, from day one, listed the government rebate right in the price. They say, here is the regular price, here is the government rebate, here is what we charge you. But that ends at the end of this month. Please keep that in mind. Plus the fact that, believe it or not, with all of the problems we've got here, Trudeau raises the carbon tax again on April 1st. So everything, including appliances, are going to go up in cost as of April 1st. So, folks, look around. In fact, I was just checking with Debbie, do we need any new appliances? Because now is the time to do it. And I ask you to do the same thing. Shields, as I say, they will have them in stock. They'll have them in your home within a day, 2 or 3 at most. And the prices will be very, very competitive, perhaps a little bit better. But the government rebate ends the end of this month. The carbon tax, just what we need, more tax, higher tax. People love higher tax. The higher the taxes in this country, the more people love Trudeau. God bless him. So maybe, you know what? Maybe there's the solution. I just thought of it. Brainwave, okay? Brainwave. I'm 84, but I still get the odd brainwave. Maybe what O'Toole should say is, folks, you elect me and I'm going to double your taxes. People would love it. You've got some emails coming in, John.
We have a number of comments. May I weigh in on something that you said earlier? I don't.
Yes,
often,
absolutely.
I don't
defend
often,
yourself here.
Well, yeah, I don't often want to weigh in because it's your show, and I'm really just doing the heavy lifting.
No, go ahead. It's your show too, man.
Well, okay, thank you. Things you may not know about John Milkey. I am a big-time advocate for mental health, and you said earlier, what does Megan have to be upset about, or that would cause her to think about suicide?
Right.
As we discussed just before we came on the air, I grew up in a very affluent neighborhood. The Myers family, the Muse family from Myers were my neighbors, Copelands, Darrowans. I grew up in a very good neighborhood. But Lowell, I'm on the record. I have 2 occasions in my life where I needed to seek help because I was seriously contemplating suicide. So
I know that.
I really don't think.
But you have a bona fide. You have a bona fide mental illness. So you have.
I do, and this is where I'm getting at when it comes to Megan. I don't think her status or her position in the royal family excludes her from being someone who could, have to live with mental illness as well.
Okay, I appreciate that. You may be right.
In fact, I would suggest that the bubble that she's in probably exacerbates the problem.
This is the first we've heard, though, of any mental problems with her, to be honest with you.
And that was the point she made last night, was where, she tried to get help. She tried to, find somebody within the royal family, even went to the HR department within Buckingham Palace, and was told, according to Meghan, basically, no, because if word gets out that one of the royals is having some mental health issues, we got a problem. So hush, hush.
What did you think of her? Because most people seem to be divided as to her performance. I'm reading a lot of people think that she was just being the prima donna actress.
No, I don't buy into that.
Other people seem to be somewhat sympathetic. What's your take?
I don't buy into that at all. I really think, and I've spoken out about a number of celebrities who live in this bubble, and they are nothing more than a means to other people's livelihoods. And the minute, like Britney Spears, for example, and the minute that Britney's not performing or recording albums, there's a lot of people who lose a lot of money. The Royals are a bit of a different situation. There's not a money issue there. But I just, she's a hell of a good actress. I will give her that. Harry's not. And if I watch him last night, there was not a whole lot of acting. That is a man who is very, very concerned about the situation he's in, about the way they are treated by the press. And you know what? To your comment about the Queen, even Meghan was very complimentary and had nothing but good things to say about the Queen. Harry as well. A lot of praise for his grandmother. So the problems exist within what they call the firm.
No,
so
I
that's the peripheral.
But let me ask you this, John. I mean, if in fact there is a mental problem, if in fact they really want to live a private life, why in the hell would they go on a show that they know that about 9/10 of the world is going to watch?
On that, we agree.
That's one of the things. And as far as Harry, now I didn't watch it because this, as far as I'm concerned, this kind of, for me, these are just highly privileged people. But I hear what you're saying. Maybe she does have a problem. I grant you that, but I just don't understand why going on nationwide television in any way is going to assist that. I really don't. But I'd like to hear from some other people.
So I thank you for allowing me that moment. And
no, it's your show too, man.
No, well, thank you.
You're making a very good point, and I may look at this a little bit. I'm not adverse to changing my mind on things. I did not watch it.
I hope you do. I hope you do. Yeah, because I'm not typically a royal watcher either, but it was the mental health component that compelled me to watch that last night. And I think there's a lot to that, especially when you look at Harry. And I mean, he went through a lot of mental health issues as well, especially after losing his mother. I mean,
yes, he did.
Let's not forget the note that he put on that casket and just how deeply affected
he
was.
Do you get the idea that the entire royal family, maybe with the exception of the Queen, are pretty dysfunctional?
Oh, hell yes. Absolutely. Do we want to talk about Prince Andrew?
No.
Right.
But wait a minute. Prince Andrew, obviously some kind of, I don't know, do I call him a pervert? I mean, the jury may still be out. But How can society be that critical of a Prince Andrew when society says that the number one song? Have you seen the words to this wet ass pussy? Have you seen the words to it?
I play the song here. Yes.
Wait a minute. How can we be critical of a guy like Andrew?
I know.
When we accept and laud and award a song like "Wet Ass Pussy," I don't understand it.
We have that conversation.
Eh?
We have that conversation on my show all the time, and that's the song that comes up every time. I got a letter from someone pissed off because I played "Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini." Remember that song?
Yes, I do.
Okay. The songwriter wrote that about his daughter, who I think was 2 or 3 years old, who was pretending to be a supermodel on the beach. Super cute, super innocent, proud dad moment. That's what that song's about. But I get this letter from someone really angry that I would dare play a song like that about women in bikinis and things. And yet when I brought it up that, here's the number one song on the charts right now. It's called Wet Ass Pussy. Oh, yes, but that's different because that's a female saying that, and she is empowered to do so.
But how about, okay, if we don't want to talk about that bit of slutism, then how about the hip hop? Some of the words, I'm listening to hip hop the other day because I'm trying to find out.
Yep.
One of the songs says, kill the beach, shoot the fucking cops.
Yes.
Sorry, but that's what this, and they're singing this and playing it. I hope you don't play something like that.
No,
if you do, that's your business. But I don't know. What I'm saying to you is, how can society, which accepts and applauds and rewards that kind of so-called artistry, how can we be critical of anybody like Prince Andrew? I mean, do you understand my point here? To me, it's the height of hypocrisy.
Yes and no, and I can't speak to the hip-hop culture because that's not my genre of music that I choose. Certainly, a lot of it doesn't make sense to me, but again, it's not music that is written for me, a blonde-haired, white, blue-eyed guy.
But you understand my point. As what I'm saying is,
yes, I do.
I think we better be careful who we criticize and call a pervert when we are allowing this kind of stuff on daily radio. Anyway, let's move on here. All right, can we move on?
Yeah,
we got some more. Let's hear from some other people.
How about some levity? Shall we start with some levity?
Oh, sure.
Anne says, Alexa, get rid of Trudeau. There we go. An email from Lisa. By the way, the email address is lowell@blasttheradio.com. Lisa says, Lowell, I haven't as yet seen the interview, but I hazard a guess that Meghan entered into the marriage like a typical American only knows how. She's a self-centered person looking for attention and accolades that aren't welcomed or deserving. She wants diva status and will use anyone and everyone to get the attention she thinks she can get, including marriage. The monarchy has survived much worse than this little upstart and powder puff. I give that marriage 10 years.
She's not very sympathetic.
Nope. Peter says Oprah Winfrey was looking for attention. She's been disliked since she helped elect that thug Obama.
I love the varying opinions.
They are diverse. Stephanie says, Stephanie says, I think you'd change your mind if you actually watched it. I felt like you until I saw the reasons why they had to leave. I don't blame Harry at all for wanting to protect his family. Kathy says, I've said since day one, Prince Harry has made a mistake getting involved with Meghan. She is very much in need of attention. Patricia says, who really cares about Meghan and Harry? They wanted to be free. Now they are. And let them be. The only positive out of this interview would be the money that they received. Good for them. They have no qualification to earn their living. Seriously, the world has more to care about. Stephanie says, I respect her accomplishments, talking about the Queen, but it's hard to respect what she did to Diana and the lack of accountability and protection of Prince Andrew having sex with minors. Stephanie on your Facebook. Nina says, Diana contemplated suicide, so I believe Meghan was under the same kind of pressure, and Harry wasn't about to put his wife through what his mother faced. And finally, Gary says, Lowell, the complete royal family is nothing but a waste of taxpayer dollars. The U.S. has nothing to do with them. It's nothing but a soap opera. It's time to let the royal family go and stop sending them millions of dollars each year. What good are they? Can anybody tell me? That's Gary on Facebook.
Well, I am still a monarchist. Until you can show me a better system, I still think that the kind of political system we have here now is superior. I don't want to go to the kind of republicanism that they have in the United States. And the monarchy, let's be honest, the monarchy, certainly this Queen, has served not only Britain, but has served the world very well. If you know the story of the kind of support that Churchill got, when Churchill was trying to stand up to Nazi Germany as they were invading Poland, there were a lot of people in Britain who wanted Britain to surrender, to give in. And it was the king at the time, actually, who stood with Churchill and said, no, I'm standing with you. We're not going to, we will fight. So I guess what I'm trying to say here, without giving a history lesson, is that the monarchy has been very beneficial to this point, I think. Not just for the UK, but if they've been beneficial for the UK, it's been beneficial for us, for the Commonwealth as well. That's my view on it. Until we can see a better system, there may be, and it may be time. I'm going to tell you, the schmozzle with Julie Payette sure as hell hasn't helped very much. Now, on another issue, I have to ask this question again. I've asked it again. What the hell is wrong with Aaron O'Toole? Here we are, more scandals, more further in debt, more delays with vaccines, and the Liberal support continues to go up. The polls indicate that the Liberals have gained another 2 points. So something has got to be wrong here. And I got a letter actually from someone, a text from a man who I think maybe has touched something that it got me thinking anyway. He in essence, what this letter writer is saying is that the problem with O'Toole is not his policies or lack thereof, but rather O'Toole's personality, that he doesn't seem real. And he points out the fact that even though Doug Ford has got all kinds of problems, made all sorts of mistakes, you can't help but love the guy. Now, some people don't, but for the most part, we still, because at least with Doug Ford, he looks real. When he comes on television, you can tell that he's really hurting, that he really means it, that he's really upset, that he's really sorry he has to do this. You can tell that the guy is real. And so even though you think he's making a mistake, you say, you know what, at least the guy is trying. But with O'Toole, sometimes you don't get that idea that he really cares, that he is really real. His commercials, according to the letter writer, he seems to be reading from a teleprompter. He doesn't seem to be speaking to us. If you had to say, who would you most like to have a beer with? There's no question. Most people would sooner sit down and have a beer with Doug Ford than Aaron O'Toole. But John, while he doesn't mention this, one of the best examples of this, the guy that's real, I think one of the most loved politicians, even people who didn't like his party, was our good friend in Alberta, the Premier of Alberta, Ralph Klein.
Oh, yeah.
Ralphie, as he was affectionately known. Now, Ralphie was a very human being. He had been caught on more than one occasion out in a pub, a couple of times, pretty drunk, and did some things he shouldn't have. But at least the guy was real. You felt that, you know what? He's making mistakes, but he's just like me. He's got frailties. He's got weaknesses. But damn it all, he's real. He's doing his best. He's working for us. That was the attitude, the feeling that you had for Ralphie. And I don't think that we're getting that feeling with O'Toole. I'd like your opinion, but I'm going to tell you, either O'Toole or somebody in the Conservative Party turns this around, or we are toast. Another 4 years of Trudeau. Ay. Centennial Glass. No matter who wins, no matter who loses, Centennial Glass is always going to be there to serve you. This is a great company. They've been here since 1967. Served this community very well at every level, commercial, large commercial department. A lot of the glass that you'll see in hotels, including brand new hotels, restaurants, schools, etc., comes from Centennial Glass. But they love working, and I keep saying that they love working in small homes. This they really enjoy this. They love getting their people out in homes, talking with people, and installing windows and doors, fixing, repairing, etc., etc. Centennial, good people. Great prices. Hey, I've seldom mentioned this, but they're very, very competitive. It's a big company, but they're very, very competitive. They know how to sharpen their pencil at Centennial Glass. Yes, we have a phone call coming in, John. A little late, but we'll take it.
We have several comments as well coming in to your Aaron O'Toole comments. But right now on the phone at 613-413-2217. Jace, go ahead. You're on with Lowell Green.
Yes, Jace. What's your view here?
Lowell, I think you hit the nail on the head right there. About the relatability, about Aaron O'Toole no one can relate to him at all. And we can relate to Doug Ford. And I think this is exactly why Justin Trudeau keeps getting a bye on everybody's criticism. It's because he just comes off as this dorky kid that all these Canadians want to love because he's just relatable. He makes all sorts of stupid mistakes. They need to get rid of Aaron O'Toole ASAP.
Well, they can't.
Pierre Poilievre in. I mean, he's like, I understand they can't. They have to do something, though. Has to do something, or we are literally in for another 6 years. Because Justin, if he knows he can win, he may go for it. He may just drag it out a little bit longer. Who knows? Certainly with Aaron O'Toole, he doesn't need to worry about the Conservatives getting any traction because they're not. Absolutely not.
I just find it astonishing with all of the. I mean, here we have more scandal, for God's sake, with Sagen, and falling further and further behind with vaccines, and yet the liberal popularity continues to soar very clearly. I mean, somehow or other, somebody in that Conservative office has got to smarten up and begin to pay attention to what's happening here, because otherwise, you know what? I'm going to tell you, if they don't smarten up, I'm going to abandon them, and if I'm going to abandon the Conservative Party, I mean, Jesus.
I'm scratching my head, Lowell. I don't understand it. I don't understand, A, how Aaron O'Toole got
up,
in.
You bunch of, smarten up, for God's sake. Have a look at what I'm talking now to the Conservative. I know you're listening. I know you're watching. Smarten up. Take some of the damn power out of the hands of those little kids who don't know bugger all, okay? Get some old guys like me who've been around this country, this world for a little while. We understand. Jesus. Anyway, that's it.
Dude.
Thank you for calling. God bless you. Thank you. All right, let's calm down here. Yes, John, go ahead.
Are you going to be okay?
I'm fine.
Good. All right. Some text to get to. I'm a Conservative, so Mr. O'Toole has my vote. But if Mr. O'Toole wants votes from those who do not have firm political leanings, he is going to have to make the case to vote for him. I don't think he's done that yet. I'm hoping he's just waiting for the election campaign. Canada will not vote a Liberal government out. They have to vote a Conservative government in. I am still holding out hope for a good campaign. That is Rob in Carleton Place. We thank you for your email. This one's kind of lengthy. I'll go to the top portion of this. Lowell, sorry, but every day your show is live. I'm working, so I catch up while having breakfast the next morning, obviously listening to the Polcast. Some ideas on what O'Toole can do. O'Toole can start by removing the carbon tax on home heating fuel.
Well, he's got actually... See, this is one of the problems. He's made a lot of these announcements. He's going to scrap the carbon tax, period. A lot of people don't know that, but he's already made that promise. He's going to scrap the carbon tax. Go ahead.
No increases to the carbon tax is the next line. No increase to the GST. Liberals want to increase. No new tax on principal residences. Liberals are considering to equalize home ownership to renters. Will extend the current CERB payments for at least 1 year beyond the current Liberal extension of 3 months. Modest increases to OAP and GIS, modest increases to baby bonus, child care allowance so parents can select their own preschool babysitter or perhaps stay at home, hasher gun crime laws, no bail for any crime involving guns, minimum 5-year sentence for first offenders, minimum 25 years.
Well, he's already
said
that he's going to scrap this bill that penalizes honest hunters and farmers and gun owners, and he's going to tighten up a lot of these laws. So he's already said that. I have to, we're right out of time here, John. Give me one more then, please.
Fair enough. Anyway, thank you, Bill, for that email. It goes on and on. I'll forward that to Lowell. Robert says it would cost too much to get rid of the monarchy in Canada. Our laws, government contracts are based on Her Majesty's service. Nina says, yes, I think Aaron needs to show more aggression. Aaron needs to take a page out of Pierre's book. And Peter says, Ralph Klein was a real guy, average guy, was who he was and didn't pretend and had good people working in his office. Now the people working in O'Toole's office are just there to see what's in it for themselves. A bunch of wannabes.
Well, we don't know. I don't know his people in his office there. But there's something wrong. There's something very wrong because, I mean, if the Conservatives can't beat the Liberals after all of this stuff, after all of the scandals from groping to blackface to God knows what, then, I mean, come on. Jump. You know what? You could run a squirrel there, for God's sake, and you should be able to beat him. Thank you. Thank you all. It's been a very interesting half hour. We'll do it again tomorrow. Why not?
You've been listening to the legendary Lowell Green on blasttheradio.com. Connect with the show at blasttheradio.com/Lowell Green. Find the podcast on Apple, Google, Spotify, and more. Or ask your smart speaker to play the Lowell Green Podcast. Lowell is live weekdays at 2 p.m. Eastern on blasttheradio.com.
There's some